You probably heard a lot of people say that most contractors are terrible. They steal your tools, your material, they take your money and walk away. They won't do what they promise you when you're hiring them. Or they say they have a license and turn out they won't be capable to do what they're supposed to do. There are just so many contractors that tend to overpromise and underdeliver. And unfortunately, that's so true because I have experienced all of that myself. I have a contractor walked away from my project. That was my very first flip. He didn't finish the job and took the money and disappeared and stole some of my materials as well. But it was my fault. I was too rushed and too eager to put the house back to the market to sell it. I didn't follow the system and learned the lesson the hard way. So from that point on, I'll make sure that would never happen to me again. So I follow the system every time. I let them to sign all those critical documents before they start doing any work. So towards the end of the video, I will show you all those critical documents for a contractor to sign, so that won't happen to you as well. So make sure you watch to the end of the video. So how can you find a good contractors? Or if you have one right now, do you still need to keep looking? The answer is yes. You have to constantly keep looking for contractors. You never know what's gonna happen. What if they move away? What if you have multiple projects and one contractor is not enough? For whatever reason, that nothing stays the same forever. You just have to keep looking all the time. Here are 3 steps you can find good contractors. Step 1, you need to find a contractor in the right place. There are so many places you can find contractors, but here are 4 most effective ways to find contractors. Number 1, websites. Most popular websites are AngelList and Home Advisor, or you can simply Google them. Website is a great place to find good contractors because you can see their ratings, like Airbnb hosts, restaurants, or Uber drivers. You can't go wrong if you pick top rating ones. But there are downsides though. One is because they're good, they're probably very busy. You probably need the patience to contact them and follow their schedule. Another downside is they tend too costly. They charge more than those mediocre ones, but it will be worth it if your budget is allowed. I have my double garage door installed by the company that I call from AngelList. 3 guys come in with top-notch tools and 2 trucks with their logo on them. And they are so professional and fast. The door was installed so perfect and sturdy. It feels like it will last forever. They charge probably 30% more than those regular ones, but I feel like it's worth it. I have them install all my project garage doors. Another great place you can find good contractors is job site. There are so many constructions going on everywhere you go. You probably can run into 1 or 2 houses that are doing construction in your neighborhood. Stop by, introduce yourself, ask their business card, and look around to see how they are doing. See how organized they are, the workers' attitude towards the job. If you really like them, you can stop by a few times, see if you can run into property's owner. Ask the owner if they are happy with the work the contractor is doing. Number 3, Home Depots and Lowe's. You'll be surprised how many contractors are shopping in those supply stores. You'll probably see more contractors than regular customers over there. Just by looking at the material and the quantity they buy, you can tell if they are construction people or regular customers. Or you can go to ProDesk. Most people waiting online at cashier are most likely contractors. You can strike up a conversation with them and ask their business card. One time my husband saw these 2 guys in front of him, a cashier at Home Depot. They have a lot of plumbing supply in their carts. So my husband struck up a conversation with them, and sure enough, they are plumber and doing a lot of projects all over this neighborhood. And we had a plumbing issue at that time, so they come and fix it. They were very good. So Home Depot and Lowe's are definitely a good place to go. Number 4, referral. Referral is definitely one of the best ways to find good contractors. You can networking with your real estate investment group if you joined one, or go to your local REIA meetup, Real Estate Investment Association. Ask them to refer you a contractor. You may run into people that are not open to share their contractors' information out of fear that they don't want you to take away their contractor from their project. That's okay. Ask the people who want to share. Especially you can ask the organizer of this group. They are more likely to share all the information they have. Now you've found contractors. It's time to move on to step number 2, interviewing and screening candidates. The objective over here is to find out if they are in fact a good contractors. There are 3 components in this process. Number 1, introduction. Introduce your business. This takes place when you first meet the contractors. This is very crucial in discussing whether or not if the person is good fit for your company and your project. There are 3 parts in this introduction. 1, you are not retail customer, you are investor. Number 2, you have a scope of work for each project. Number 3, you love to pay them once the job is completed. By telling them that you are not retailing customer is to let them know this is not one-time job. You are investor. You're going to do many projects over the course of next few months or next few years. So you are expecting wholesaling price because you're going to have a steady source of a project for them. And they're going to like to hear of this because that means they're going to have a steady income for their business. And by telling them you have a detailed scope of work for each project, that shows that you are organized and professional. You know what you are doing and you know what you're talking about. If they are unqualified, if they are not insured, or if they are not licensed, you will know. By telling them that you love to pay them once the job is done, is to telling them that you're not going to pay at the front. You're not going to make any money unless they do their job. You're willing to pay them only when the certain task is completed. This requires contractors need to have a sufficient fund to start the project without you paying them the deposit first. So this is gonna screen out those small business, one-man band, or unqualified people who often overpromise and underdeliver. Next is to check a credential. Once you select the contractor you want to work with, you need let them either email you all the credential, like their license, their insurance, their workers' comp. If the work involves electrical and plumbing, you need their electrician and plumber's license as well. Or you can create a simple application, let them fill out. The application has some key questions you want to ask them, like how many years experience do you have? Do you have the necessary tools? Are you licensed and insured? How many projects are you working on currently? Can you provide referrals? Next is interviewing. The interviewing process contains 2 components. One is go to the job site the contractor currently works on. If they don't have it at that moment, ask a referral from their previous client. 2 is to work through your project and bid on your project. Make sure they know they are not the only one you are interviewing. Once you select the contractor you want to work with, you'll also let the other contractor know that they didn't get this particular job, but they can bid on the other project in the future. It's a good idea to let them know that you have many projects coming up and keep good relationship with those contractors. You never know when you need to call them. Now we move on to step number 3, signing critical documents. Make sure do not have a contractor to do any work on your project before they signing 3 of those 4 critical documents. Independent contractor agreement, scope of work, payment schedules, and the final and unconditional waiver of lien. The last one will be signing once the project is completed. Have those documents signed by contractors not only set the rights and the responsibility for both parties at the very beginning, but also help you to manage and avoid the liability and risk associated with the project. The independent contractor agreement. This states the relationship between you and the contractor. They are independent contractor, not employee, and indicate the date of the beginning of the job and the date of completing the job. The next crucial document is the scope of work that you create for the project. This needs to be attached to the independent contractor agreement because it is now a part of the contract. The contractor will need to sign each page of the scope of work. Payment schedule. You can use your scope of work as your guide to break down the project into sessions on your payment schedule. Each payment made after session is completed. Remember, do not pay at the front. no matter what. I have my contractor walked away because I pay at the front. A friend of mine had the same experience. The contract stopped showing up after she paid in full. So no matter what story they give you, they have a loved one sick in the home, they need the money to buy the material, or they're gonna slow down the project. Do not fall for it. Do not pay. Follow the contract. Pay them after job is done. They will finish it. Next critical document is final and unconditional waiver of lien. This document will need to be signed by the contractor when the project is completed. Do not pay the final payment unless they finish the punch list, pass the inspection, and sign this document. By signing this document, the contractor is acknowledging that they've been paid in full for all their materials and all their neighbors on the project, and they agree to release any and all claims to any lien on this project. This document protects you from any dispute with contractor in the future. Once you follow these 3 steps, finding a good contractor in the right place, screening and interview them, and signing all the critical documents, you should be able to land a good contractor and have all the protection that's necessary. So good luck for your project. I'll see you next video.